Hello. Welcome to Lost State Records Podcast.
Hello there. My name is Trey. This is the Lost State Records Podcast. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already, you should subscribe to our iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to listen to this. Keep up to date. We're going to be trying to do more podcasts this summer. Stuff about the label. I'm going to be on tour in July, going all the way down to Los Angeles, California, and back to Portland with our good friends Machinist in support of the new split between Machinist and Kill Me Please, which is my band. And unfortunately, Kill Me Please cannot make the tour this time. Some personal stuff came up, but I will be touring with Machinist in support of our split that we did together. So if you haven't already, check out the dates for that. They're on the Lost State Records website and also on Facebook, wherever you can find the post. We'll be playing 10 shows in 10 days and then back to Portland. So, the boys are flying out, Machinists from Georgia. They're going to meet here. We're going to hang out, play shows all the way down and back. So that'll be fun. Make sure to pop up on the website and come out and say hi to me. I'll be running a Lost State Records booth at the shows, selling some stuff. So, let's see. Yeah, this episode, we're going to be diving into an hour and a half almost conversation with Sean Decker. Sean Decker is the main person from Coma Regalia. God damn it. We talked about one of the things where you read something and in your head you know how to pronounce it to you, but when someone else pronounces something separate from what you think, you kind of go, wait, what? So Coma Regalia is how it's pronounced, not Coma Regalia, which I thought. But we talked to Sean for a bit about Middleman Records, Coma Regalia. God damn it. I'm such an idiot. Anyways, Coma Regalia. We talked about Europe, tour, music, bunch of stuff, vinyl plants. We even shit talk on one record plant, so stay tuned to hear about that. Anyways, I'm just going to jump right into it. Here's a little snippet from the new Coma album that comes out May 25th. Here's pretty much first listen anywhere, so you should feel lucky. Hi, Sean. How are you?
Hey, Trey. How you doing? I'm doing well.
I'm good. So you're in Indiana, right? Or do you live in Indiana? Or
yeah, I live in Lafayette,
so
Indiana.
You're in Indiana. I think you used to live in Texas, right? Or no?
No, I used to live in Florida.
Okay.
I don't know. I get around.
You do get around.
I've been in Texas a lot.
You're getting around soon. You're going to be going to Europe, right? little plug.
Yeah.
Little plug.
Next month.
So
yeah.
So what's it like setting up a European tour? Like how the hell do you even do that? I mean, you've already done a European tour, but could you kind of tell me how you even got to that point to setting up a Europe tour like the first time you did it? Because I'm baffled. I'm trying to set up one date back in my hometown for a tour I'm going to be on with my friends Machinist from Georgia. I'm going to be on tour with them, going all the way down to LA and back up to Portland. And I can't even set one fucking date up in my own hometown. And I've been having the hardest time. And I'm like, how the fuck do you set up a Europe tour? But yeah, if you can please explain, I would love some insight on that.
Well, we just kind of got the impression that, you know, you really should travel with a band from over there. And so we're trying to set something up back in like 2013 as long as we were trying to set something up. We were going to do a tour with the band Rainmaker at that point, but then some things got complicated with someone who was in the band at that time. But we kept sort of like trying to find people who were willing to help us out, and eventually we just we got on to the right people in the band, Katie, and that's who we went over with the first time. And this year we were actually trying to go. We were trying to tour to Japan.
Oh, wow.
But the person who was trying to help us with that was involved in some really scary stuff.
Like what?
Like long story short, a very prominent figure of the area's DIY scene was outed as an abuser, and the person who was trying to help us was very outspoken against that person's involvement, and the person that was trying to help us got like beat up and death threats for speaking out against this abuser. And so we, ultimately, for very good reasons, we had to set those plans aside, and
crazy.
We just knew about this tour that Katie was putting together, and we were like, "Hey, we'd love to come back over if it wouldn't be too much trouble."
Yeah.
And they were, more than happy to help us out with that. And we're trying to bring them over next year as well. So it's just our mates, Katie.
Yeah, and the band's called Katie.
Yeah, Cady.
Oh, Katie. Okay, I'm like, of course.
Yeah, we have a split 10-inch that they have some songs on. It's us and Katie and Agak from Japan and Majorel from Richmond.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't think I've really noticed that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I feel like I've seen that name, Katie. I didn't really put two and two together.
They had a 7-inch called Isle of Flowers, which was killer.
Yeah, there's so many bands now. It's even like I'm online all the time looking at stuff, and I still can't even catch up. And someone's like, "Oh yeah, this album." I'm like, "What? I've never heard of them." There's also a lot of good bands coming out. Also, there's also a lot of bad bands that I noticed coming out. Just not so much like in, say, screamo or emo scenes, but just in general. It's very oversaturated, which I find that when you actually find a band that sticks out, you're like, it's like finding like a needle in a haystack. You're like, yes, this is great. I found a good band. And then I usually cling to them once I find them. And then sometimes they let me down. Like they just kind of either break up immediately or just kind of stray away from what made me like them. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, styles have always been like very cyclical,
Yeah.
Certain things catch on, and
I do notice the let's see, like certain bands, like the old school kind of like metalcore has kind of come back the last year or two with like See You Space Cowboy, which you've put them out before, and
yeah, we helped with their first 7-inch.
I literally I always knew Connie from working with, when I used to work with Dandy, which you've worked with Dandy before. I'm assuming.
Sorta. Yeah.
I'm just assuming everyone has worked with Dandy at some point, because most people I talk to, they're like, oh, they knew Dandy from like Driftwood Records, and they have their own personal story. I never really had a huge falling out, or because Dandy kind of like screwed a lot of people over, but I just remember having a weird interaction once, and then I never talked to them, I think, again. I'm not totally sure about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, they were also accused of sexual assault.
Yeah. You're right.
People.
That's what it would do.
Yeah. So that was that. That was ultimately, the reason that no one
totally forgot.
Heard from them, again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I moved to.
We never really did anything. We didn't do anything with them. We did. So
I could have sworn I saw you did, and maybe you helped out with the release or something.
So there was one thing that was. They did this Lathe series. They were supposed to release one once every month, and so Vowel was supposed to do one, and the thing is, they were supposed to do X month. I don't know, whichever month it was. Let's just say May. So they were supposed to do May, and then they said, you should do one. And I said that I'd do it if we could write a song where I didn't care if we were before them or if we were after them, whatever. But if we could do a song to where our songs would have the same part in them, like if our song was first, then our last part of our song would be the first part in their song.
Okay.
Or vice versa. So we ended up getting the month before them.
Okay.
And we recorded our song, and I had this end. The end part was kind of like a swishy, like outro kind of thing. And so I was like, so here's your first part of your song. And Chris was like, oh yeah, sick. This is going to be cool. Well, Val didn't record their song for like fucking 6 months or something after it was supposed to be out. Yeah. So like 8 months from when we recorded our song or some shit like that, right? Yeah. And they actually were like, will you mix the song for us? And I was like, well, I mean, your person is way better, but I guess if you want me to. And they sent me the song, and it didn't have the fucking part in it or anything. Like, and I was like, what is this shit? So we did this shit for nothing.
Well, that's a bummer.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was what it was, but it's like the only reason we agreed to do that was because of that. And yeah. And like, as far as I know, there's like 6 of these lathes made, and that was it.
I talked to Tyler Bisson. He was saying how he made those lathes, and he worked with Dandy, and he did those like self-defense family like lathe cuts, and those sold. I think he said he made like 300 of those, which, knowing how long it takes just to do like one lathe cut record, I was like, you did fucking 300? And then Tyler was also talking about how he did 300 for the Hotelier. They're like 7-inch kind of lathe cut before they put out the album, the Goodness album, which I never listened to.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, that is crazy. Like just the turnaround for getting like 20 made, it was like at least 2 months. So like, he
300.
Yeah, he was like, I did like 15-hour days just to get all those done. I was like, you're crazy.
I'm quit your day job.
Well, yeah,
I
mean, that's all Tyler does. I think Tyler just.
That's tight.
Do you know Tyler? Or I just assumed you knew Tyler.
Just
audio geography,
and not like. Yeah, I mean, just like casually.
Okay, for sure. Yeah.
Online. I haven't met Tyler.
Yeah, I haven't met Tyler either. I just did a podcast, and
that I know of.
Yeah,
I'd feel like a real ass if I actually have, but I don't. I'm pretty sure.
I think I just have this preconceived notion that just like almost everybody who is in somewhat of the scene like just knows each other somehow. just because I've personally talked to a lot of people. I don't know a lot of people. Like, I didn't know you very well until, like, even now talking. I've just always through online, which is very not interpersonal. But I mean, even a phone call and even like video chatting is not the same as actually being in front of each other and hanging out. But like, it's pretty close, you know. That's what I learned from my communication class that I took in college. They're like, yeah, it's not. I'm like, yeah, so like Skyping, you're looking at each other. It's like, no, it's still not interpersonal enough to like where you can actually know somebody. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I think most people know about each other, but not everybody knows each other. So that's why I'm trying to do this podcast, because I want to actually get to know a lot more people and talk about just stuff that's I think is cool, and or running labels, because you're in. How do you? Okay, so you say Coma Regalia, or how do you pronounce the band name? I don't think I know exactly how to pronounce it.
Coma Regalia.
Coma Regalia. Okay, because like,
yeah,
I thought it was Coma Regalia. Coma Regalia.
Oh,
I think I did an auto like speak.
Hey, didn't you help release one of the records?
Oh,
and
did I?
And you've been.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I helped at all. What are you talking about? No. But yeah, it's one of those things like where I see it and I just kind of internalize like what I think it says, but I never had anyone cross-reference it with me. I'm like,
it's like
Coma Regalia.
You always think that a screamo band, it's going to sound fancier.
Coma Regalia.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Regalia is fancy.
Regalia. No, I didn't say it's not, but I just.
No, I just mean like that's it. It's like
is that
Regalia?
Is that like a certain
just in itself the word?
Is it Spanish or Regalia, or what is that a certain language or no? Sounds kind of Spanish.
It's English. It just means like like.
It's just like a name or something.
Like a prize or a gift or
the gift of music.
Or like your best clothes, or I mean, you get it. You hear it used lots of different ways.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, just like when I did a podcast with Brian Morganti, who does Flesh and Bone designs and does a lot of cool stuff. And I was talking to Brian, and I'm like, how do you say your last name? I'm more, because it's like Morganti, but like the way it's spelled, I'm like Morganti, Morgante. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure so now when I mention Coma Regalia, I'm actually saying it right now. So good. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah, have you ever been to Portland before? Like toured through, or have you ever been through?
Yeah, couple times.
Okay. Probably before I lived here, I'm assuming.
The first time we played with Carrion Spring and Sky Above, Earth Below at a bookstore.
Oh, bookstore.
I can't remember.
What about bookstore?
I can't remember the name of it, but it was
Powell's?
By the time we came back. What now?
There's a bookstore called Powell's. It's like I don't think it was at Powell's though.
Oh, this was by the time we came back 2 years later. This place was no longer.
Oh, okay.
And the next time that we came back, we had a show booked somewhere, and then they had like pipes burst or something.
Oh shit.
And we Adam from Carrion Spring was trying to move the show around, but it just never ended up happening. So we just like chilled at my friends and went to like Things from Another World and looked at comics and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, another place.
So
that's down the.
So I have a buddy who lives there that used to live in Fort Wayne, which is like 2 hours north of here. So it's like someone that I used to know from like going to shows. Like they used to live up. Fort Wayne used to be a lot of the shows that wouldn't be in Indianapolis or whatever. Yeah. Like saw like Majority Rule there in like 2002.
Oh yeah, I just saw page 99 in Majority Rule. They came through like what was it a couple weeks ago? I saw them play with Portrayal of the Guilt. that was a great show.
We played Portrayal of Guilt's first show.
First show ever? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we played their first show.
Yeah, they fucking blew the fuck up. I mean, they're great, but honestly, I was just like, how the fuck did they blow? Like, I don't know if they knew people to get into certain things.
Yeah,
I'm like, how did you get that? I mean, you guys are...
They are great, but obviously they didn't know people like they knew, the majority rule people. And
yeah. No, that majority rule show, the Page 99 show is really awesome because the venue before Page 99 came out and played, they had a local person from an LGBT like community center come and speak beforehand about like some issues before they actually like took the stage. I just thought that was really cool of them to do that. And
we played with Page 99 in an old band of mine called Keikio Body back in like
1980. I'm just kidding.
Probably 1980.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yes. No. I guess it was more like 2000.
2000. Yeah.
But yeah. Very long time ago. Not 1980 though.
I
wasn't playing guitar in 1980. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah, I wonder like them as a band, like because they're a little older now, like older people playing, and not that they're old, but older than me, because I can only assume and like speak on someone's age compared to like how old I am. But I wonder if they like when they're doing this whole tour, they're like, we didn't really think people would be so into this still, because they probably knew they had pretty good like underground following and stuff, but like not to where they could go do a full tour, because like I feel like most of the shows were like, the show here was basically packed, like everyone came out for it. So I wonder, I'm pretty sure it was bigger in other cities too compared to here, because
I think they knew that this would work out. I think that was pretty much I mean, I'm not that was the impetus to do it,
Oh no, that's not what I
think
meant.
that their motivations to me are very clear, unlike some other band that's just getting back together. But their motivations to me are very clear and like very genuine. Yeah. But I think that the fact that they knew that it would work out is why, like, probably has a lot to do with like why it's like, okay, the time is now.
Yeah. No,
and I mean,
for sure,
you can understand that.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, I get that. I just was curious as if they thought like it'll probably work out all right, but I think majority of the shows
I think if you take anybody from a screamo band back in 97 to 2000,
and bring him back,
and you put them in front of like places with sold out crowds, I think you're always gonna be like, wow, that really exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because you just people talk about, I mean, I don't know, people show footage from like Crazy Fest or More Than Music Fest or whatever, where like bands play in front of all these people, and this is just generally not how it was,
No,
so,
I don't imagine. It was usually like in a college dorm, or like not college dorm, but like some college place, and like a couple people hanging out, just standing there with their arms crossed. If you look at like old photos, just like very small like house shows and this and that, to like playing actual venues and booking out like 300 max rooms or capacity rooms.
But
yeah, I
mean, it's the same as it ever was.
Yeah,
really.
Well, I think it's cool though. But I
awesome.
noticed. Yeah,
it's cool that they're able to do that. And I mean, I saw that their last the shows that you're talking about, they were able to donate $28,000.
Oh yeah. They donated
various charities because of
they donated their money that they made from that show to, I think it was a local. Yeah. It was the local like LGBT community.
There was a
center.
few different organizations.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they might have been.
I think it was kind of local to where
they did
they
like
went.
3 or 4,
Yeah.
5 shows or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Right. That's
That's awesome.
Getting at. But,
yeah, I noticed.
Very cool.
I noticed a lot of bands like coming back. Like I think one of the first ones I noticed was like American Football, which I'm actually seeing tomorrow. I'm gonna go see American Football at a venue, Wonder Ballroom. I mean, I'm not expecting.
It might be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I mean, it's not like, their music's just.
I think their new album is better than the second one. That's for sure.
Yeah, the second one I kind of just blew through.
I just didn't care for it.
Dude,
I just thought it was boring.
I'm hoping
all the songs sounded the same.
Yeah.
I'm playing a screamo band, so if I say all the songs sound the same, then I really.
Yeah,
it's got to be bad.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's
a lot of people like it.
No,
though.
yeah, it's good.
Whatever.
It's good. It's like seeing a jazz band, but like it's like an emo jazz band. So, but yeah, like their first album they did that they put out was like, yeah, even though all those songs sound the same too, but they're good. Like I like them. And then the second one I blew through, I was like, whatever. And then this one I listened to a little bit of it, and I was like, okay, the quality is like really high production value, obviously, because I don't know if they're trying to keep playing. Like, I thought they were just coming back for a little bit and then that's it. And then they're like, oh no, we're like a band again. I was like, after like 20 years, okay, that's cool. Like if you can make it work. And then
after you made that kind of money,
I know.
You don't want to go back to, doing what you were doing before.
Yeah. Was it Mike Kinsanella? He had Owen. He's been playing since doing that stuff, but not like a full band. Yeah. I think it was all like just mainly acoustic all the time.
When he toured, he never took a band.
I don't think so. I never saw. He played here a couple months ago. He played here by himself as Owen, and I think it was just acoustic. He did. I don't know if it was his. He did like a cover album, and he was doing a bunch of covers, like touring, playing covers, or maybe.
I don't know anything about that.
I thought I did, but I guess I don't. But yeah, American Football. They're a band that, like, when they came back, I was like, oh, they're just trying to get money. Like, it was not, like, obvious, but, like, I was like, well, and then I think Mineral was like, yeah, we're back, too. And then all these other bands are like, we're playing again, too. I was like, what? Sum 41, hey, we're back. I'm like, what? Okay. I mean, this is, like, a couple years ago. They've been playing since, like, the last couple years. But I was just like, so weird. What was there? There was a marquee somewhere at a venue, and it showed all the shows, and someone said, like, what fucking year is this? And it was like, like a couple bands that, I'm trying to think. I can't even, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was a couple bands that have come back in the last couple of years, but that all, like, mainly were from, like, early 90s to, like, early 2000s. Like, what fucking year is this right now? Like, they're all playing within a month at this venue.
Wild.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they're booking some new bands on these bills.
Yeah.
But,
Also, that's the one thing that, which is I think where my brain was going to next, is that all these bands that are like, hey, you haven't heard from us in like 15 years, but like, here, we're putting a new album, spend all your money on us. And I'm like, there's so many good bands out that you could be paying attention to instead of just like throwing money at these old bands. Like, I mean, not that they don't deserve it, but like, it's like, okay, you had your reign. Like, can you let other people try to like rise up and try to like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just come back and steal my thunder.
I mean, why do I still have copies of the Masonera LP when, like, City of Caterpillar LP sells out like time and time again? Like,
yeah.
It's mind-boggling,
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of that, I was curious about when did you start Middleman Records, like the official, like you've been doing it for quite a while. I know that, but I don't know like when you.
Yeah, I have, but I didn't. I started when I was in high school. I think I released my first tape for a friend's band. I just like knew how to get in touch with people. This is like pre-internet, dating myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I knew how to get in touch with people to, dub tapes. And so I helped my friend's band, and I was like, maybe I'll do this. And I made the joke, like, at that time when they asked me to do the tape. I said, "So you just want me to be the middleman?" And that's I picked the name, as silly as that is.
I'm assuming that's what,
And I did that, and I did like a tape for one of my bands and a 7-inch for one of my bands, and actually did 2 more 7-inches for an old band, and I did like a comp CD, which actually like was pretty close to having Blink 182 on.
Oh shit! Are you serious?
But this was really a long time ago, and this was like in the middle of their like lawsuit. So they could not do anything.
Wait. Blink 182?
So they were like still, they were like still Blink,
Just Blink.
But then they were getting sued. Oh, you don't know that story?
No, I don't. I mean, I've known Blink. I'm a pretty avid Blink 182 fan.
So
I didn't know that.
So their first material was released as Blink.
Oh, okay.
And they got sued by like a German metal band or something called Blink.
Oh shit.
And so they had to change their name, and so they changed it to Blink 182. I don't remember the significance of the 182, but I had a letter that came in the mail to me for a long time from one of them. I don't remember which one it was.
Mark.
And it was like, sorry, we weren't able to make your deadline for your comp. But our like lawsuit like just got over with or something like that. Oh wow! And I was like, I didn't think too much of it at the time. I was just like, oh, they're just like cool pop punk band or whatever.
And this is before they got big, right? Or
oh yeah.
So this is like
way before,
what, like early '90s or something like that?
Not early.
Or just mid '90s.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking because they got big like late '90s. Like I think. Like when? What's my age again?
I mean,
like
this was like
or something like that, or 99 maybe.
Yeah, they got big like right.
That's crazy.
After this, as far as I know,
it was probably Tom or Mark Hoppus.
It had to be one of them too.
Travis, I don't.
Nobody ever lets a drummer, send the letters out.
Hey, I do. I'm a drummer in a band, and I do like most of our stuff.
I am also a drummer.
I know.
And a guitar player, so I will make all the drummer jokes that I like.
It's okay.
Just like this one. How do you How do you get a drummer off your porch?
You tell them to play a paradiddle. I don't know.
You pay them for the pizza.
You pay them for because they're a delivery driver. Okay, yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
There you go.
I guess that makes sense.
I mean, it's
because I'm trying to.
It is what it is.
I'm trying to do like Uber Eats on the side just to make some extra cash, and I guess technically I would be delivering stuff. So and I'm a drummer, so that joke makes total sense.
I also deliver food.
You do? What do you do? Postmates?
My main source of income. What now?
You use Postmates, or what do you do? Or just like
I work for a pizza franchise.
Oh, you do? Okay, Papa John's.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Good old Papa.
Maybe.
Did I call you out? Right? Okay.
Maybe. No, I don't.
Papa John's.
I'm gonna plug my corporate overlords. Even though we're a franchise, not a corporate.
You know what? It's a capitalist society, and if I'm gonna have to live in this capitalist society, I'm gonna have to play by its rules for the moment, just to survive until we can crush capitalism and do something different.
I mean, that's fine, and that's why I work for them. Yeah. I'm not getting paid right now by them, so I'm not working for them.
For sure. Yeah. What else do you do? What else do you do besides play music and you work your delivery job? Like, do you do anything else? Like any hobbies that are you an avid Pokemon Go player? Are you do you build model planes?
No, I don't. My wife likes the Pokemon games. I never got into the Pokemon games. I play some games. I play games. I read comics.
Yeah.
The last game I got really into was Sekiro. I've been playing that a bit.
I don't think I've heard that.
Pretty hard.
Is it Shakiro, you said?
Sekiro, yeah. It's a Soulsborne, like Dark Souls.
Okay. I got you.
Bloodborne creators.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not
one of those games that's so hard people take it back to the store.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm not a huge gamer. I mean, I have an Xbox One courtesy of basically my friend Ben, his name's Ben Barnett. He is the main proprietor of the band Kind of Like Spitting from Portland here. And also did some other stuff with like Ben Gibbard and Death Cab back in the day. And also was in the Thermals for a little bit. He just like gave me his Xbox One before he moved to a new place. He's like, "Hey, do you just want this?" Because he like has a ton of shit, and I'm just like, "Yeah, okay." He's like, I'm like, "Do you want me to pay you for?" He's like, "No, you just paying it forward. Like, just have an Xbox One with like a controller." I was like, "Thank you." Like, I wanted to get one, I just don't have money. So since then, I've been able to play a couple games. I've been basically played GTA 5 online with my friend's wife mainly because that's like our fun thing that we like to do with each other. We like play with each other on GTA and just do random shit. But I was playing Fallout 76 for a bit, but the game's pretty bad. But like, I really love the Fallout.
That's what I've heard.
I love the Fallout games, and it's still fun. But it just you play it for like an hour or two, and then you're like, okay, and then you just turn it off. It's not like the worst game.
Yeah, Lauren's really into the Fallout games as well, but we never got that one.
Yeah,
because she's like, this just doesn't interest me. Like,
yeah, it's just one of those time wasters. Like, and there's times where I'm like, I'm just gonna kill like some time. I have nothing to do, so like I'll play Fallout and do some stuff in there. But it has its problems. But it's better than it was when it first came out. But it's still the whole format of it. Like, you run into people because the whole point of it is like a multiplayer. And then I run into people in the game, and then they just like walk past me, and then I'm like, okay, cool. And except one time, I made a friend, and this person was like, "Hey, you want to follow me?" And then I made a random friend and added them on Xbox, like just because we were like, they helped me on a mission or something. So, I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, that's what you do, right?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. But yeah, it's not that great of a game though. But most games don't really interest me anymore. I do want to play the Last of Us game. My girlfriend has a PS4, and we moved in with each other a little bit ago, and I was like, oh yeah, I have a PS4 now, so I can like find some PS4 games. I heard that game was pretty awesome with like the older guy and the young girl, like trying to like, I don't know.
We got it, and I really wanted to play it, and then when I was on tour once, Lauren had started playing it, and I was like, so is it awesome? And she said, I couldn't play it very long because it was scaring the children. So
yeah, no, well,
so I haven't played it.
Don't play it in front of the kids.
Apparently it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic, I've heard. But I really like intense kind of games like that. I think
I mean,
I'm an avid like thriller horror movie fan. Which is my girlfriend isn't, which is kind of not saddening, but there's times where I'm like, oh, let's watch this movie. She's like, that's scary. I'm like, God damn it. I just want to fucking come on. Let's just watch this really gnarly, brutal, crazy movie right before we go to sleep. So you have nightmares. Like,
I think with my kids, it's more like tension and suspense, like elements that make it scary to them than because I play games like Sekiro. You know, one of the bosses in that game is a giant, like, it's this giant ape, and you You literally like cut its head off, and then it's running around with its head in its hand, like swinging a sword at you. And it's like, this doesn't faze them at all because it's not.
Is it
tension?
Yeah.
It's not like suspense. It's not.
It's just happening.
It's just like, whoa, what's that?
Is the game kind of like? Is it very realistic, or is it like kind of like cartoonish looking?
Nah, it's pretty realistic.
It's realistic. Okay.
It's just just stuff that's like real over the top like that.
Yeah.
And, it's different. It's not scary in the same way.
Yeah.
That like, something that jumps out from the shadows.
Yeah.
Is,
You know what game really freaked me out? Just the whole intro and the first like part of the game you play is I think I downloaded it for free. It was on Xbox for free one day. It was that Metal Gear Solid, I think 5, where the intro where you're like in this hospital. I don't know if you've played it, but you're like in this hospital, and then this like crew of like spec op people are coming in just murdering everyone, and you're like trying to run through this whole building, and then like there's a crazy dude on a fucking horse with, like on fire, and yeah, it's very realistic because it's what's his name, the guy that the really well known
Snake.
Excuse me. Sorry. No, the guy that makes
the voice actor.
No, the guy that makes all the games for Konami. The really well known Japanese guy. Fuck, what's his name? He was doing that Silent Hill like game, and then they canceled.
Hideo.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's this one dude who's like, he was doing it with Guillermo del Toro. They were doing that Silent Hill game, and then they canceled that, which I was so fucking sad because that looked so fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I wanted to play that so bad because they did that like playable trailer, which they put out years ago. It's fucking, I felt like it was yesterday. It was years ago. They put out this playable trailer, and everyone's like, what the fuck's this? And then you're in this house, and then you, at the end of it, there's like a cutscene of Norman Reedus like walking out, and you're like, oh shit, and then it's like Silent Hills, and you're like, oh fuck, this is sick, and then they canceled it.
Well, they're making that other game now. Yeah, Hideo Kojima.
Kojima. Yeah, I think that's
What's it called? It's called
oh yeah,
I can't remember.
something.
But yeah, there's that other game now that's basically like some super weird looking game. It's like
Kind of like
Norman Reedus.
Yeah, I did see that. I don't know if I literally glanced at a video about it, but
I can't remember what it's called off like right now, but it looks awesome. It looks real weird.
yeah,
I like the I like the random elements, like the baby giving the thumbs up inside. I mean, who knows what the hell this is? There's a baby inside Norman Reedus. Like what?
What?
Okay, looks cool.
just really.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like watch the trailer after this.
Okay, yeah, I'll find
there's
it. I'll find it when I get home.
There's like a supercut of like all 3 like previews or whatever, and it's wild.
Just
like
madness.
What the fuck is this? Yeah, it looks cool though. I mean, I'll play it.
Yeah, I mean, just that's enough to some gamers and people that will be like, that's just so fucking weird. Like, yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I might buy that just for good marketing. Probably is what they're going after.
I mean,
make it weird.
The people involved, they have a good track history.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
safe bet, I guess.
So anyways, back on a different topic. We're talking about your label, how you started it a bit ago, and then so how long do you think that you'll probably run your label for? Because I find myself, I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't even know if it's worth it anymore. I still want to put out certain things, but I when I first started, like when Dandy, I was like trying to like not like make a name for myself, but I was like, I want to like do stuff and like help put out stuff, and I'm just very naive. Like I just want to help everybody, and I jumped on a couple projects at first that I was like not too really stoked about, and kind of was like, I guess I didn't really need to do that. I just kind of overloaded myself, and then I kind of found found a time where I just put out certain things strategically, and I'm basically down to like maybe doing a couple releases within like the year instead of blasting tons of stuff. Basically, it's just my friends now at this point, like putting out friends' albums and then knowing I can actually like market it and put it out and try to like make enough copies of something to like sell. But I just feel like people don't buy stuff as much as they used to. I mean, they do, but like I feel like, I don't know, it's not as poppin' as I think it was like when I first started. Like people aren't as energetic at like just, oh, this band's really cool. I heard like one song and just like, that's me. I would be like, this band's dope. I heard like a couple songs and I would just go buy their record. Like I was just so enthusiastic about stuff that I think now I'm very more like picky and specifically only buying stuff that I really want. But so I'm like rambling. Yeah, if you want to jump in, go ahead.
Well, I think about it a lot, and it's I'm kind of at I feel like I'm always at like a crossroads with the label because I do the label because I love music, but I also just genuinely want to help bands like realize their
potential,
their projects, and the question I've asked myself is, you know, what does a label do now?
I know, right?
And there's lots of labels kicking around, and you know, like you said, the demand for physical media is not what it was, and it's almost, I mean, it's understandable that it's not what it was with everything that's happening technologically, but the thing is, bands need physical media to tour on. Yeah. And so the bands are always going to need physical media, like to sell at shows. Yeah. And so bands are always going to need someone to help them facilitate that. And that's the problem that a label gets themselves into is like, how do I help this band get the copies of this record they need to go on tour with and not have tons of these copies myself, like sitting on my shelves and whatnot. And it's you know, people are being like smarter about it and divvying the pressings up into more labels and whatnot, and like, you know, every once in a while you see someone that wants to like bash on that, and I mean,
bash on like multiple labels putting something out.
Yeah, get fucked. You know
get
what? Fucked if that's your mentality. Like,
what? Why would
you
someone
do see that though?
Really, I've
like,
never
you see that. Like, how many labels does this take? And you're like, as many as it takes, I guess.
Really,
you know?
I've never heard anyone ever say anything.
Oh
negative.
No.
Well, I don't.
I've definitely seen it.
That's super weird because, like, why would it? It doesn't matter. The only time I think I grabbed a record, or there's a couple records I have where on the back I'm like, that seems excessive, but like, not that there's a problem with it. I'm like, there's like 15 label designs on the bottom of this LP, which it's just kind of it's kind of funny to see that, but like, it's not a. I don't
remember our split 7-inch with Dre Affin.
Yeah,
I don't remember how many labels helped with that. I didn't set
a couple.
That up.
I think I noticed it was like a few.
There's quite a few. There's probably a dozen or more. But it's like I saw this one 12-inch. This was several years back now. Must be 8 years or more back. I saw this one 12-inch, and I got like I got the pitch in my email. They were like, "We're trying to get this record into every state, into every country, into every. They literally wanted to have like 200 something labels, and I was like,
that's too much. See,
more.
that's
I mean,
excessive.
to me, it was like more power to you. You know, I didn't want to do it, but like, you know, it's like more power to you. I mean, it's a bit much, you know, but
a little bit.
It's I mean 200 is definitely different than 12 or 15, but my point is that, you know, like I don't know that it's really anybody else's business how the band
divvies up,
makes arrangements with the people they make arrangements with.
That's no one's business, to be honest, except the band.
Yeah, I mean, just like commenters, you know. Like,
there's always haters. Haters are gonna hate. You know, T Swift said it best. You know, haters gonna hate, and the players are gonna play. Yeah, no, I see. I've never heard anyone negatively say anything about having multiple labels. I just find that my only thing with that is it makes sense that, say, you're like, oh, I'm putting this album out, and then I have a label in Europe and a label in Spain and a label in England, and you kind of spread it out to where it can kind of reach out to where people don't have to pay exorbitant. Yeah, they don't have to pay exorbitant amounts of shipping. You know, because it's easier for you to send your, you know, a label help put it out over even in England. Getting that shipped from England to anywhere else in Europe is going to be far less than trying to buy. You know, I send a label or I send a record to someone in like Australia. It cost me like fucking so much money. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, it's like $25.
Yeah, dude, it's like so expensive to like. It's so expensive just to send one. One time, someone bought something from like, I want to say, Indonesia. I've sent some records to some weird fucking places, man. Like, Indonesia, Japan is not weird, but Slovakia, like, somewhere in Russia, I think I sent somewhere. It's so expensive. So someone's like, yeah, fuck that. You have all these labels. Like, you don't even understand what you're talking about. You're just hating for just to seem edgy. Like, oh, like I'm going to shit on these bands and this label. Like, no one cares about whoever, you know, that opinion is just pointless. I'm like rambling. My only point I was trying to get across is that my only concern with putting out too many labels in the same area, like say, like I've done this before where I put out an album and there's like 4 other US labels and then everyone has copies and then there's one label that has more attention that everyone goes straight to that label to buy all the records. So then you're stuck on all these records because everyone else is buying them from. So that's the only concern as far as doing too many labels. But it'd be too close to each other. So, you know, a bunch of labels spread out. That makes more sense.
Yeah, I always try to think about, like, if we are going to work with more than one label in the U.S., like what
can they bring or what?
I try to look at like what they've, you know, I mean, if it's a label that's putting out the exact same bands that we're putting out, then yeah, that wouldn't be a good fit.
No.
But like, you know, if I look at a label's roster and I don't know these bands, then like I think as opposed to like being like, oh, those aren't bands I know, I think the opposite. I think that is a good fit because I think
reach other people.
That gives exactly. And also I think that's good for the person who wants to buy the record because there could be people that like want to pick up like 2 records from you, and also want to get the new Coma Regalia record, you know, and so that gives them the opportunity to like get those 2 records from you and the one that they would usually get from me, but now they don't have to do like 2 orders or whatever. So that's I kind of usually look at it that way. Like, yeah, I mean, Zegema Beach and I, like, we release a lot of the same stuff, and but Dave's in Canada, so it's like,
different market
that works,
different people.
Yeah, whereas like if he was primarily based out of the States, then like it wouldn't make sense for us to partner up a lot, because it's just like you said, it's like
it's just too much. Like,
which one? Who are you gonna, who are you gonna order from, this or that? And then, I mean, even that's fine. It's just like makes less sense.
Yeah, it's just the bottom line is you're just gonna lose. Well, one of them is gonna lose money because they're not selling.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I don't know. I try not to think of it as like
money.
A competition or anything.
No, for sure.
But yeah, it's my long-term goal was to have the label be able to take care of itself, and I'm still not.
Yeah, that was my goal too at some point. But I find that I always had this kind of as a side thing, just for almost semi-hobby, that whenever I would get money, most of it just gets plopped in my account if people buy through credit card, and then through PayPal, I just end up using it to pay for the most part, pay it for other stuff, but also I just would keep it and use it because I'm like, well, I have money of my own, so if something comes up, I'll just pay for it out of my pocket. And then in doing that, I didn't, put away all this money, so when something comes up, and like a while ago, I was like, oh, I'm broke, and I'm like, cool, I can't like put out some stuff that I could probably want to do, but now I have to be like, well, I guess I can't put an album out that I would really like to, but I think that's the struggle with some people too. I don't know about you specifically if you save all that money for other stuff, but I'm real bad with money. So
the thing about it is, like they're to have money that would be specifically Middleman Records money, would have to mean that I wasn't having to constantly put in my own money all the time. Yeah. So it kind of, because I can think, oh, okay, this is going well. Like, I'm getting on track here. And then really it just takes one record that doesn't do it. And I mean, I've had one or more every year that have just like, I mean, it's just like, okay, there's $700 that's gone.
That's gone. Yeah.
And I mean, the record's just sitting there, but it's like, that's just, I mean,
that's just how it just happens.
$700, bye.
Yeah.
And this happened, this happened two times the year before last, and it happened, once last year, and it's just like, that's all it takes. It's just that.
Yeah. And it sucks, but also, like, I think it's shitty to have to completely, I mean, you do have to look at it because it is technically a business, that to make it self-sustaining, not even to make a profit, to like, just to make a bunch of money, but you do have to look at it as a business. Like, some people I know, they don't have, like, I'm not the most business sense type of person, but I do understand the common, like, basic things of like what I should be doing. Like, even my label, I know how I should probably be running it. I just don't, because I'm like, whatever. I'm just, like I said, I'm like, oh, I have my own money, I'll just help it pay for that. And then I have to pay for this, or like, oh, I made this much money from something, like I'm gonna use it to go get food or something, and then whatever, I'll just put money back into it later. You do have to look at it as investments, and you do have to be somewhat cautious of, like, say, like I've done this too before, where this album, you're like, fuck, dude, this album rips, like people are gonna buy this up, it's gonna sell, and then a year or two later, I'm sitting, and these records are just sitting on my shelf, and I personally think it's a great album. I think it would do very successful, but it just hasn't found people. But beyond having to market and spamming people relentlessly online on Facebook and all this shit just to get people to like check stuff out, which I still do to an extent, like, hey, like on the Scrams Cave, like, check out this band on my label. Like, not like, hey, give me money, but like, this album's really cool, but also if you want to buy a record, you can buy one from my label to like help support it. Like, not just trying to be a money grabber over here. And I guess I am shamelessly self-promoting, but like this record I put out for a band called Lost Boys from Germany, and I love it. It's really heavy. It's very good, and it just hasn't sold. And also, there's like the album cover doesn't fit the music in my opinion, and I didn't really notice till after I was putting it out, helping put it out with like I.Corrupt Records and some other labels.
Kind of looks like a vaporwave album cover, right?
It's a vaporwave. Me and my friend were just laughing.
It's a good album.
We're like,
it's just
it doesn't fit the album.
But I don't think that has as much to do with it. You know what I think is
but
that,
a little bit.
You it's just really hard to sell. It's really hard to sell albums from bands overseas until they come to the States to tour,
and they get more attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. You know, there's something about people being able to see the band and connect with the band in that way, and then being able to have a keepsake of that, you know. And it's not even necessarily like they buy the record from the band at the show, like even though, you know, obviously that will happen, but like there's been, you know, times when like like Coma Regalia will be on tour and we'll have just played like a city and someone will order the record from that city like 3 days later.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like the same thing. And that's why, because for the first couple years that I got started going again with Middleman, like I was just getting hit up by Euro bands like constantly.
Yeah.
And I was releasing a lot of records for bands from Europe, and like I still have a lot of records from bands from Europe.
Oh shit, yeah.
And it's not, you know, it's not all that. It's great. They were great records. And
for sure.
But it's just, I think that people just you know, they want that they want that connection to the music, like personal connection, and it's hard to sell records. I mean, Lentic Waters has toured the States like 3 times, and their new album just came out. And, you know, granted, it's a bit different than their previous albums, but I mean, it's a really great album, and a lot of people seemed really into it. I don't know.
It's hard to just guess. Like, you can't read people's mind. You can't really deep dive into people's heads and like different cities and people that like. I mean, you can, like, if you know how to do crazy marketing stuff, like it's hard to like understand where and what will sell and how to like market it to people who will actually probably be interested in it. That's the one thing. I've talked to you before on a post before about Facebook about, you know, I find myself doing some ads for like, you know, I'll do like $5 here and there on sponsoring on Facebook, and I feel so fucking stupid for doing it, but I just feel like, well, I'm hoping it helps a little bit. You know, I would never do more than like, I do like 5. I did like 15 for a split with my band and Machinist from Georgia. Because, you know, I want to push it. So I'm like, well, I'll do $15. Hopefully that helps. I mean, it did. But most of those numbers, my girlfriend was saying, it's like Facebook inflates some of their numbers. Like, they're basically probably lying to most of us about, it reached this many people. It's like, how can you who's regulating that to make sure your money is actually spent well? Because Facebook probably lobbied to where they don't have to be transparent, even though they do this fake transparency. And Mark Zuckerberg is fucking stupid. Anyways, just like ranting. I hate Facebook. I wish I didn't have to use it, but I run a label. I'm in a band, blah, blah, blah. I use that as an excuse to be on Facebook, I guess. But also, like if I didn't have to use Facebook, I'd be completely happy. I wouldn't care, but kind of have to at this point. And unless everyone dips out and finds a better thing, or so, I don't know. I want to throw an idea at you. I basically thought of this idea with someone, and I'm like, I feel like Bandcamp, if Bandcamp could just like somehow integrate all of what Bandcamp is, but also have somewhat of like a social media form, like kind of like a timeline, kind of like how Facebook is, they would probably take over. And it would be like angled more at people who like music, like, you know, who are artists and who are more into music stuff. That would be more driven to go there specifically, instead of doing everything through Facebook, which is just like a social networking thing, but also has different platforms. But they literally put a gun to your head and make you force you to pay to see your own fans to see your shit, which is so stupid. And I'm gonna stop talking.
I mean, I don't know. The Bandcamp social media thing kind of sounds like MySpace, but I don't know. You know, if anybody could do it right, maybe Bandcamp could. But I'm not real like stoked about their
record thing that they're doing.
I'm not real stoked about their vinyl pressing thing.
Well, everyone was like, "Oh shit," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." But then also, it's like, "Yeah, we're partnering with Pirates Press," and I'm like, "They're like the worst one, aren't they? Like they're so expensive, and they're so like, you know, it's the same plants."
I mean, they're not the worst.
They're not the worst. Oh, well, who's the worst?
Not even close.
I mean, I've gone through A to Z Media before, and they were okay.
Well, they both broker to the same place.
Yeah, it's the same. It's like in Czech Republic or something like that.
Yeah, GZ, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Pirates is fine. We did our 9-inch with them. Their Still Time was pressed with Pirates because
at Pirates. Oh wow!
Because I knew that they would get it done in time.
Yeah,
like they guaranteed me that it would be done in time. So
well, that's good.
Yeah, but I mean, they're definitely not the most expensive. Which is, I mean, it's kind of
they're not. Oh, I thought they were so much.
That's a bit much, you know. But
yeah.
There's. I don't want to like, you know, the only plant that I'll shit talk is Erica. Like, fuck them.
Erica is it Arica or
Erika?
Erica. Yeah. I feel like I've seen that. I've never heard of. I don't really know them too much. They're not on my radar.
We did our split 5-inch with Fox Mulder with them, and about 100 of them were warped, and they were like,
shit.
"Oh, we'll take care of it. Send us some back." And they were like, "Send us 5." And I sent them 5, and they were like,
"They're fine. What are you talking about?
They're not warped." Yeah, and they sent me a picture of and you can see in the picture that they sent me
that they're warped.
It's bowing. Yeah. And then they sent me a video, and they were like, "We played it and it sounds fine." And they sent me a video.
They didn't want to
pay. The video had no
fucking
fucking sound.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to. How do you even make a video with no sound? Like, I don't even know how did you just send me a video with no sound?
That sounds like they're literally trying to like just totally discredit you and be like, "No, you're fine. You're crazy. What are you talking about? No, they're great." They didn't want to pay for fixing it.
It's like I was like, I don't understand. Like, I will send you all 93 is the exact number. I was like, I'll send you all 93 of these back at my expense. Just replace them. I want nothing else from you. Like, I'm not asking for a discount. I just want them replaced. And like, they just were like, "Oh, we're talking it over with our techs." They did this to me. I
Did you?
I mean,
what happened?
I gave up hope of ever getting the records replaced after like a year of like a message every 3 months saying that they're working on a solution. Well, see, the thing is, like, I gave up hope after a year, but I didn't give up messaging them. I kept messaging them just to fucking do it, you know? And
yeah, fuck them.
I did this for like 3 years. And they're just like, Lord. Oh, yeah. Oh, we didn't forget about that. But there was never a solution.
Yeah, we'll take care of you in 5 years from now.
When you really think about it, like, this is when you deduct like the plating costs and everything, you're paying like 60, 70 cents, you know, per record, you know.
Per record.
That's
yeah,
it.
The per unit cost is not much.
And that's like what you're paying. So like this is costing them like
nothing basically.
To fix my problem would have probably cost them less than $50. Like,
well, yeah, and then maybe labor cost, but besides that, that's not that many records. Yeah, one day you could have gotten that done in one day.
They could have just busted that out in probably an hour or 2 hours, you know, at the most.
Probably.
And like, I've done so many like records that they could have pressed it since then.
They fucked like, you over.
Okay. Yeah, whatever.
Well, fuck them. They don't deserve the business then. I'd say very vocal to people. Yeah, so shout out to Erica Records. Fuck you.
Yeah, shit out to Erica.
shit out to Erica Records, you fuckers. Yeah, quit fucking people over that. You know, it just makes me mad too when people that like you run a small label and this and that. It's like we work hard for the little bit of money we get. You know, all these big record companies, they can just put out 5, you know, here's 1,000 copies and they don't give a fuck. Like they have the money, but like we have to scrounge and work shitty jobs just to like help put out friends bands on a format that I feel like not even 10 years ago it was so cheap. And then since the vinyl boom and then all these big plants sucking up all the resources and taking over all the plants to make stupid represses for Record Store Day of, oh, we really need a Clueless record soundtrack on vinyl. Yeah, we really need that. So take up all the fucking space at every plant that anyone else could be using for that. That's in a nutshell, that's my opinion on Record Store Day, is that it started out great, good intentions, and then it's just kind of turned into this corporate fucking greed fest. And just,
I mean,
and everyone,
music kept those presses alive for like
I know, right?
Years.
Yeah, I know.
And now it's just like Jack White's playground.
Jack White's like, yeah, I'm starting. You know what? I talked to Tyler about that on the podcast, the last podcast I did, and he said he went there, and I'm like, honestly, if I went there, I'd be like, this is fucking awesome. I think it's cool. I do like Jack White. I was a White Stripes fan, and some of his solo stuff I do like. It's not the best, but I do like him as a person. I think he's cool, but also my main problem with him is when he started talking about all this record plant and all this stuff, he kind of, which I think most people were a little upset too, because he kind of promoted it as like a, yeah, dude, it's going to be fucking sick. And like, you know, small punk bands could come and track and or maybe have a studio there too, but they can put out their albums through us and this and that. And they kind of marketed it as a more of a, like, not from what it really is. They're like, oh yeah, we hope that maybe they'll be able to afford to like get their records made here. But in the meantime, we're going to repress MC5 and just do a bunch of represses, and I'll put out my stuff and, you know, maybe some other big bands that have the money to do it. But also there's a lot more into it. We tend to like get very picky about certain things, but then not taking into account the greater things of like, he had all those vinyl pressing machines. They're all manual. They're all like custom made, and it's a lot of fucking money that they're going to have to like pay back. I don't think he just paid that out of pocket. So,
no, I don't know. I was just referring to like several years ago when he basically like took over United Record Pressing. Like he didn't take it over, but they gave him like first slot in the door. Like no matter
really?
what.
Oh, I thought you were just referring to like his plant that he made and everything.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, you don't? Oh, well, he has a vinyl plant that's like it's all. It looks cool, but it's really
got the gist of it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah. United. I remember.
United used to be tight.
Yeah,
maybe
I worked on.
Again. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they do. No, they're very expensive. They raised their rates because they were like one of the plants that were doing a lot of
I remember
big albums.
Yeah, I remember the last time I looked, I was looking and like the cost of the center labels from one time to the next that I looked had almost doubled. And I was like, it's fucking paper.
It's
fucking
paper.
Like
what's changed? What's the cost change that you need to charge double? Do they like rub it in gold and then slap it on the record? Anyways,
that's why I didn't use them that time. But
yeah, I don't even know. I literally looked at this. Let's see, the only record I put out myself with the band. There was the record is a band called Champagne Color Cars. That same thing with problems with pressing is I went through A to Z Media and I got a certain green colored record because it matched the album art, and we were getting the B-side screened because it was just a single sided 12-inch, and I could have went through the plant to maybe screen the design on the back, but I wanted to throw some cash at Chris Reject from Square of Opposition, and so I was like, hey, and then it was luckily timed perfectly with him moving his whole operation for screen printing to a different building. So that took forever to get that done. Like not his problem. I just picked a bad time, I guess, to get him screened. So I had to pay to get the records made, and then got sent all the way to Chris, and then he took a photo like, hey, they're turning out pretty cool. And I'm like, wait, what? And the records are a complete different color than what we picked. Completely.
Huh.
And we complained to A to Z Media, and the dude was just like, yeah, sorry. Yeah. We're like, this is literally, this is not the fucking color that we picked.
Was it the same?
Cool.
Like,
no, it was.
Was it a different shade, or was it a totally different color?
I picked whatever, like A to Z, like, you know, there's their like template with all the different color designs. It was like T90, sure. P50, or like all these different numbers. I picked the one. I'm like, I even took the sample color from the color the record. It's not the record color that we picked. I even took a sample from the their template, and because I have a mock-up of the album, and I pasted it in there, and it looks exactly like the record that they gave us. That's the wrong color. And I'm like, I did a swab of the color, and that's it. That's not the color we fucking picked. And they literally were just like, and actually I mentioned it, and then Tyler from the band was like, he started messaging, and then he would send me photos showing that they were like, yeah, well, it was just it just looks a little different, you know, bullshitting because they don't want to fix the issue. And then literally it ended up with him just going, well, we'll give you like a credit next time you get a record made for like $50. Yeah, $50 fucking dollars is going to make a big difference.
So if it was like green, was it still green, or was it
no?
Totally
it's like bright fucking blue. We ordered green records with, and
I see.
And we didn't notice until Chris got the records because they got them mailed straight to him in Pennsylvania. Yeah. He screened them, and then there's another decent amount of money having to spend on that, which I don't mind because I want to help out Chris because I want to support other local people.
I bet that like some of these brokers, I bet they kind of can't even fix.
They can't because they're like, we can't go back to this plant. It's in Czech Republic. That's going to cost them so much money. So they're like, yeah, sorry. And, you know, I'm like, well, we're nice enough that we're just going to eat it and fucking, you know, but I don't know. I'm like whoever the broker was, the one dude, they have a couple people that they use. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this motherfucker again. He kind of just literally
that's
wouldn't.
not the person I end up using. We have a
I think his name
LP that's going there.
Well, I mean, as long as you put in, you're spending quite a bit of money, and you put in all the info exactly how it should be, just to get fucked, and then they won't fix it. You're like, okay, well, like not like we're fucked. We were just like, well, I guess all the promotions we've been doing, let's just change the color all of a sudden. Be like, whoops, sorry, it's blue now. Which they still look cool, but I don't know. Yeah. I just, any kind of company like that, they act like they care, but they don't really care. It comes down to money. They're going to pick their bottom dollar over actually getting the product that you want to like. And then, like you said, you did that record, and then, you could have brought more business to them, and they fucked you. So you're like, well, fuck you. Taking my business elsewhere, which is the only good thing about capitalist society. Not capitalist.
Probably
society,
a lot of it has to do with just like what we were talking about before, just like the lifespans of labels. They don't worry about it too much because they figure they're just going to be talking to somebody else in 3 months, 6 months, whatever. So
that's true.
But it sucks.
Yeah. Anyways, is there anything you wanted to like promote? I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Is there anything you wanted to say or shout out about the new album, about your tour, if you want to say anything?
Well, the new album is called Vau Faelgoh, and it comes out on May 25th.
May 25th.
It's being released by
Atlantic Records,
Atlantic and Capitol, and it's being released by I.Corrupt Records, Listen to Aylin Records, Convulse Records, Zegema Beach Records, Adorno Records,
Pundonor, right?
And Middleman Records. And it's a record about loss.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've really felt this year. And it's our 5th record. I still have some copies of some of the other ones, and you can get those from Middleman Records.
For sure. Yeah. I remember when you told me the other day when I was talking to you that Pundonor, which is Luigi, who I actually met. Luigi, he came through and
I saw that.
Through, like,
that's wild.
Yeah, he came through, and I was just like, hung out with him and his partner Maria, and like we just hung out in Portland and ran around and got beers, and then I dropped them back off their hotel, and then I haven't seen them since, and it was just such a cool experience, and I've had that experience before, like just like I don't even know who you are. He's a sweetheart. He's such a sweetheart. He speaks pretty decent English. He has a little hard time understanding, so that's why like Maria, his partner, was like she's very good at like she kind of explaining stuff to him, but he's not that bad. He understands, but
probably talked too
it was
fast.
Just who to what?
Like that's like you probably talk too fast. Like that's my big thing with like
I talk way too fast. I'm sorry.
When I'm trying to understand like Spanish, for example, like when people talk fast. So my favorite word is despacio.
Despacio.
And,
what is that?
Yeah.
What does that?
Just,
what does that mean?
Just means slow down, please.
Despacio.
Despacio.
Despacio. Yeah.
Despacio, por favor.
Sí.
Yeah.
Sí, amigo.
So it's
Amiga.
just like, that's I think that's one of the biggest like hurdles in speaking of a language that's not so familiar to you is just when people who speak that language, that's their first language. It's they speak at a pace that's just because you need to get that information into your ears, then let it rattle around in your brain for a second, and if it's coming just like nonstop, then it's difficult.
I do tend to talk really fast. Most of me talking fast comes from
I wasn't making a comment about that. That's just a generalization.
No, I know. Well, what I'm saying is that I realize too now when you say that, I'm like, oh, when I'm talking to him,
I probably really was, huh? Yeah.
I was talking too fast, and then he was like, he looks at me like, what? And then she's like, blah, 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 and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, got it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should slow down, huh? I tend to talk fast when I'm either anxious or like, I just talk fast too. I'm a fast talker.
It's understandable.
But yeah, it was really cool, and it was also really cool talking to him about. We were talking about Spain and what it's like over there, and talking about basically how we both mutually hate police, and he was saying how what it's like over there and the differences with America. It was really cool. Hopefully you get to meet him at some point. It was really fun to just I dropped him off, and I'm like, I just hung out with this dude from Spain, and I made a friend, and I never met them before, and I was a little anxious at first, like, I don't know you, but like you run a label, and I'm like, okay, like, all right, let's be friends, and I'm glad I met him. So
we're only playing one show in Spain, and I don't remember.
He's
what
in
city
Madrid.
He lives in Madrid.
He's in Madrid. Yeah, he's like near Madrid, around Madrid.
I'm not very well versed in the geography of Spain. We're playing near Barcelona, which is like right.
Oh, that's not too far
by France. So I don't know. Like, hopefully we'll get to meet him. I would like.
Yeah, You know what's really funny? He's a train driver. He's like a full-on drives trains.
Nice.
Like he's like in a union, and like I was like, what? That's his day job. He drives trains for like a couple days straight, and then he has like days off.
Somebody had their childhood dream come true.
Yeah. His dad, it was like his dad was a train driver, and then he's a train driver. And I was like, that's cool. Hopefully, I think he makes a decent amount of money. So I was like, well, he's union. So I'm like, dope, dude. You got that union job. Yeah, I'm all about unions. I work for a union here doing stagehanding for like the Moda Center, which is like where the Blazers, the Portland Trail Blazers play. And there'll be big concerts. I go and load in and out. I loaded in and out for Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, and Shinedown. That was one show. I loaded out for A$AP Rocky. Loaded in for what's the one band I did? Oh shit, I don't even remember. I actually worked on stage assembling this huge skull for like that 5 Finger Death Punch band. It was it's wild. It's wild. It pays decent too, so that's nice. Anyways, yeah, so Middleman Records buy the new Coma album soon, and it'll be on vinyl. You have vinyl available when it comes out too, or is that later?
It'll be pretty much immediately when it comes out.
Immediately? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
wasn't sure if you were doing a pre-order.
Like right now, and the vinyl's
dope.
On its way. So
dope.
Yeah,
that's so awesome.
Well, right away.
It was really nice talking to you, Sean, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks for having me.
So, thanks for listening. Tune in for the next podcast whenever it gets put up. I don't know when exactly, but we'll keep you posted on all our media websites and everything. Thanks to Sean for coming on the show and talking to us. It was fun. Make sure to check out Coma Regalia. Coma Regalia. Tour coming up in Europe. So if you're in Europe, go ahead and check those dates out. Also, the new album coming out with Middleman and a bunch of other cool record labels from Europe. I can't remember all of them right now. But yeah, Go check it out. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye.